Good morning, folks. Hi, Phil McPhail here with United Country Lifestyle Properties in Maine. Come along with me today. We're going to check out a property up here in Maine's largest county on the eastern border, close to New Brunswick, Canada. I want to show you an off-grid property that has everything you could want in an off-grid property and more. We've got a board log home in here. We've got two garages. One's 28 by 28, one's 24 by 28. We've got some other outbuildings. 40 acres of land, 24 of it is really nice fertile fields. 16 is mature forest, spruce, fir, pine, and some hardwoods in here. All of this and at a price of $350,000, folks. I challenge you to find a better deal somewhere. So come along with me. We got a lot to look at today. Stick around to the end so you don't miss any parts of this beautiful property. Hey, before we go in and look at all the buildings, let's talk about the region we're at. We're up in Aroostook County, Maine, and locally we call it the county with a capital T. This is the largest county in Maine. It's larger than several New England states combined together. It's the over 6,800 acres, over 6,800 square miles of territory up here with just about a population of 68,000. So you've got like one person every 10 miles, if I did that right. It's an amazing area. It's Maine's biggest farming area with thousands of acres of land in plantations up here of potatoes and broccoli and all kinds of different vegetables, corn, wheat. And then we've got the largest forest in a state here in New England, running from the center part of Aroostook County all the way to the Quebec border on the western side of the state. We're located here in the town of Blaine, Maine, B-L-A-I-N-E. Blaine has a population of about 660 people, just over that, I believe, according to the 2020 census. This is a border town with Royalton, New Brunswick, Canada. Beautiful area. We've got Mars Hill Mountain in the background. We'll talk about that in detail a little bit later. A fun fact about the town of Blaine is James G. Blaine, back in the 1800s, tried to convince the town to change its name. It was originally called Alva, and he agreed to buy the bell for the bell tower and the meeting house for the town downtown, which is still there, by the way. However, after they changed the name of the town, Mr. Blaine conveniently forgot to deliver the bell, so that never happened. Pretty cool fact there. Little history of Blaine. So what is around here? Well, the nearest town of any size for services would be Mars Hill, and that's about 3.5 miles from here. Prestile, which is the largest city in northern Maine, is 17 miles away, and that's about a 20-minute drive from here. Prestile has a large hospital, a commercial airport, shopping centers, and everything you could want. Bangor is about 144 miles away. That's northern Maine's largest city, the north half of the state's largest city. There we've got an international airport and a couple large hospitals as well. Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, which, a lot of people wouldn't think of taking a day trip there, but it's only 98 miles from this location. So you could be in Fredericton checking out that historic city in an hour and a half, 2 hours. From this location, we can actually see Mars Hill Mountain behind us. It's about 4 miles away. As a crow flies, it's probably only about 2 miles away. 4.7 miles by road, but Big Rock Ski Center is over there. Downhill skiing area with over 20 trails. I think there's 29 trails on that mountain. Mars Hill Country Club's a mile up the road from there. That's a beautiful 18-hole golf course, one of the nicest courses up here in northern Maine if you like to golf. That's 5.5 miles. When you leave Pierce Road coming in here on Field Lane, and now Field Lane is a private road, Pierce Road is a public road, but if you ride your snowmobile or your ATV to the end of Field Road, take a right out here on Pierce Road, you're going to go less than a quarter of a mile and you're going to hit ITS 83, which is called the Bangor and Aroostook Trail up here. It used to be a railroad bed, and they removed the tracks, and the state of Maine maintains that as a snowmobile and an ATV trail system. It's beautiful. You can reach Prestile all the way up to northern Maine. You can go all the way down to Holton. From a snowmobile from here, you can ride all the way to New Hampshire or into Quebec, Canada, or New Brunswick for that matter. What else we got up here? Well, I talked about the big forest off to the west. The North Maine woods is, I think, 2.5 million acres of undeveloped forest land, mostly in commercial forest production. you know, they're not cutting it all the time, obviously. That's a 40-mile ride from here over to Ashland at the gate that gets you onto what they call the Realty Road. And you can access hundreds of miles of interior roads in that forest for hunting, fishing, bird watching, paddling the Allagash, whatever you want to do. It's all right there in the North Maine woods, and that's less than an hour from this location. And finally, the Francis Malcolm Science Center, which is 15 miles north of us here in the town of Easton. It's the only planetarium in northern Maine, I think. They have a planetarium theater there. And they also have an observatory with a retractable roof. Pretty cool place to check out if you're up here and you're living here year-round. Place to take the kids for an adventure. And finally, if you want to get some classes done while you're up here in northern Maine, University of Maine Prestile Umpy campus is 17 miles from here in the city of Prestile. Check that out. You can check out some basketball games, some baseball up there, whatever you're looking to do. So now let's go take a look at the cabin, and we'll look at all the outbuildings after that. So as we come in here off the driveway, which is a snowmobile trail at this point in time, we come into this gated off pavilion. The clients that I have had dogs here, and they kept the dogs in here, but if you didn't have dogs and you want to just have a beautiful covered pavilion, what a great place for a summer kitchen out here. So let's go on inside the cabin now. This is connected up to the cabin with all the fencing. We'll go in there and check that out. All right. So we come right in here to this enclosed porch, and this is an addition onto the log cabin. This is a wood log cabin. This sunroom or sun porch, I guess you could call it, is added on. It is 12 feet wide by 20 feet across. All windows here are all thermal pane windows. This is an insulated building, floors, ceilings, 4-season sun porch, if you will. You could make it your living room if you needed more space. Coming in here, we come right into the kitchen area. And this home was lived in off-grid, very rustic. There's obviously no electricity here other than what they get with their solar power units, and we'll show you those over here. They will convey. You know, if you were going to live here year-round, you may want to put a more substantial solar power system, but that's certainly up to you. Maybe you would like to live. They lived here for years like this. Hand carrying the water from the well, we'll show you that. And when we go outside, we got cabinets in here. We got a propane cook stove, an oven. We got a propane refrigerator here. Around the corner, we got a little bit of a living space, and we have a sink here and a shower stall. And this just runs out on the ground. This is just your gray water goes right out onto the ground. However, there is a 1,000-gallon septic tank that's hooked to this house. That plumbing is there going out to it. Never been used, never been hooked up. The leach field was never installed. So the 1,000-gallon concrete tank is out there in the ground, according to my clients. No leach field. You could design one if you want, put that in, be pretty simple to do. So we've got all this space here. We do have we got a wood stove down in the basement, and surprisingly, this off-grid cabin has a full concrete basement. We're going to show you that next. Up here, we've got a loft for sleeping, a ladder for entry to the loft. It's certainly a cabin-style home, but you could live here year-round. This wood log cabin was built in 1995. There is an additional woodshed on the back we haven't shown you yet. You'll see it here in the B-roll, but that was added on in 2020, and it's a 16 by 20 foot woodshed covered all the way around, and it has direct access to the bulkhead, so you can bring the wood into the basement without lugging it through your house. Behind me here, we've got a couple of Goal Zero Yeti power supplies that are charged by solar panels on the exterior of the cabin. And I'm going to show you those here shortly as well. We're going to go down the spiral staircase into the basement and show you that. All right, folks, as we come down into the basement off the spiral staircase, you'll notice full concrete cellar down here. We've got some LED lights we got on. This big old wood stove, I cranked this up when I got here, and it is about 70 degrees in here in this room right now. It's beautiful, nice and warm. Pretty well open down here, a place for a bed. If you wanted to have some company stay over, you could finish this off, make a game room or whatever you wanted down here. It's just a nice dry basement. Haven't seen any signs of water. And then over here, we do have the bulkhead that comes in from the woodshed, so you can bring your firewood right down this set of stairs. You probably can't see it because it's pretty dark, but you'll get the idea. We'll show you that wood stove that woodshed when we get outside next. Okay, we're over in the first garage, and this is garage number 1, 28 feet by 28 feet. First thing you notice when you walk through this door is I think that's a 12 or 14-inch steel I-beam that supports the roof and the floor upstairs. And there's some finished space up there we're going to check out. Over here, we got a huge wood stove. Little tire rim style, which these things are amazing for heating garages. We got a metal Bessus chimney going out through the walls, and this building is partly insulated. So let's go upstairs and take a look at that. All right, welcome to the dance hall. This is the second floor of that 28 by 28 garage. This is all finished off with V-match pine on the walls and ceiling. Beautiful, again, thermal pane windows, got vinyl on the floor. You could throw a bunch of bunk beds up here, make it a hobby room, whatever you're looking to do. But there's all kinds of extra space out here in garage number 1. So we're gonna go outside now and check out the chicken coop in the barn. So coming over here from the house and the garage, and we decided after post holing, we're going to put our snowshoes back on. Right here, let me show you this, folks. This is the well house. It's a little vinyl shed, but if you come around here, I'll show you what's in here. I actually have a hand pump and a well in here. So my clients would actually use this when they were here, and they filled buckets and hauled them to the house. It is a drilled well, and they said the water's great out of it. It would be fairly easy to plumb it into the home. You'd have to dig a trench probably for your piping and all that, but if you wanted to do that, you want something a little more permanent in the house, certainly could be done. If not, you can keep doing the hand pump. They did it for years. So this is our barn out here. It could be a workshop if you didn't need it for a barn. It's a nice building. Did have a chicken coop attached to it and a little pen for them to run out into. So this is another quality structure here on the property, and you decide what you want to use it for. Turn around in snowshoes is a ton of fun. So I want to talk about the land before we look at the rest of the buildings. We mentioned earlier we got 40 acres of land here. 24 acres of it. It's a beautiful hay field. My clients have used that strictly for hay. They let a local farmer hay it for his cattle. It certainly could be certified organic. The only thing we've ever been able to find that's been spread on it, my folks have owned this property since the 1980s, is there was some potash put on there to reduce the pH of the soil. From here, the stream's about 600-700 feet to the west. And forgive me, we've had a fun day. We've been stuck on snowmobiles a couple times and snowshoed an awful lot of this property already. So we're not going to walk down to that stream, which is completely frozen. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Prestile stream that this fronts. My wife is from Prestile, and I met her back in the 80s. And my idea of a date back then was taking her to a remote trout pond in the Baxter State Park area near where we live. But she was from Prestile, so we came up here, and there just aren't that many ponds around here, not right in this immediate area, but there are a lot of these little streams. And she mentioned her Uncle Dud, who would go out and catch trout and bring them back to her and her mom and the rest of the kids. And I started doing a little exploring, couldn't really figure out where the streams were they were talking about. And then in 1988, and I'm going to link this in the description below, I got I think it was June of 88, I got my Fly Fisherman magazine subscription came in, and on the cover was Prestile Stream. And Ken Allen wrote the article, gave some local areas where you could reach the stream, which I found, and I've found a lifetime of pretty good trout fishing in that beautiful little limestone stream, which is a rare thing in the state of Maine. If you're from Pennsylvania, you've probably heard of limestone creeks. There aren't a lot of them in Maine, and most of them are right up here in Aroostook County. Okay, we're over here in this cute little building with the cedar shakes. Is actually, the door's a little frozen, is the outhouse. And my clients use this for years for their business. So if you want to check that out, you certainly, like I said, it's here, it's in good shape, vented, dug hole, not a lot of odor there. If you take care of these, they'll work pretty good for you in case you don't want to hook in a leach field. So let's go from here. We're going to walk over to the other garage. And this is the 24 by 28 garage. And this one has 2 carports, one on each side. Concrete slab under this one. And let me open this up and we'll take a look. Okay, we're over here in the 24 by 28 garage, and this is a pretty impressive structure. Again, big steel I-beam supporting it, very well built building, 2x6 construction just like the other one. Nice frost wall around the edge. This place is built correct. Got a 10-foot door on this side, overhead door, and a matching one on the back, so you can drive in and out and around the building on the other side if you wanted to. And then we got the regular size door for a tractor, lawnmowers and such. And we're gonna go upstairs because it's finished off up here in this one too. Okay, we're upstairs here in garage number 2. Again, this is finished with a laminate floor, match pine all the way around, walls and ceiling, beautiful. Again, extra sleeping space, whatever you want to do with it, but another nice structure on this property. Let's go check out the land, a little bit more detail. Hey, before we keep going on this property, you're probably wondering, what's he carrying that Bernzomatic around the yard for? Well, in the wintertime up here in Maine, properties that are not being used here in the winter, oftentimes the locks will get ice in them, and several of these doors did. Perfect tool for the job. So if you're coming up here in the winter, bring your Bernzomatic, you won't regret it. We're over here just the other side of garage number 2. And the other carport is right here, and that carport again has got a gravel pad under it. The other one's concrete. We do have a large propane storage tank here that's underground to the house. So the gas company can come in here and fill this for you once a year or so. And then we're going to take a little walk out here in this spruce plantation, which is really pretty cool. And one of the things you're going to notice real quick, we've got 3 feet of snow out around the house in the opening. But under this tree canopy, man, what a difference. You know, this is a place where deer will hang out in the winter. We probably got less than 2 feet of snow in here. And this plantation is on the northern side of the property. And this is all planted spruce. So this would have been a field probably 50 years ago. And now you can see it's all groomed spruce trees. Really pretty in here. The other side of the property, and from here to the stream, is a more natural forest. It wasn't planted, it just grew naturally. One of the cool things is between the field and the cabin, in case you're wondering, there's a little low hole right there. And the soil type in that hole is usually kind of wet. And it's the only wet soil I really found on the lot. I think you could dig a pond in there. If you want to clear a few trees, I think it could be a cool place to dig a private pond. So if that's something you've always wanted to do, there's room for it. And I think an ideal location right there in front of the cabin between here and the field. You'll see that little pocket of soil on the soil maps I'm going to talk about next. So the soils on this property primarily are a Caribou gravelly loam and a Mapleton shaly silt loam. Those are in that field out there, and that field's growing beautifully. You're not going to see that now. You can see the shots of it here on the drone flying over it, but it's all covered with snow. Beautiful field. Look at the land ID map that we'll put in the description. You can check out the topographic outlay, which this is between 390 and 480 feet above sea level, if I remember correctly. Sitting up here, we're well above Prestile stream. 645 feet on the stream, but no worries of flooding here. We're probably 80 feet above the stream bed at this location where the cabin is. What else can I tell you? I don't know. It's a lot of property. Check out that map. If you got any questions, you can call me and I'll send you a property information packet with all those maps and plus a whole lot more information. Hey, thanks for taking the tour with me of this property here in the town of Blaine. Before we wrap this up, don't forget, like and share this video and hit that subscription button and put on all notifications so you won't miss the next video we put out. So let's wrap the property up for you. What we have here is 40 acres of land with 24 acres in field approximately and 16 acres in forest, 645 feet of frontage on a beautiful trout stream. We've got a 20 by 24 ward log cabin that has a 12 by 20 sunroom addition on it. We've got the 16 by 20 woodshed that's attached to the back of the house. We've got a 28 by 28 garage, a 24 by 28 garage with a couple of beautiful carports. We've got the chicken coop, the shed, the outhouse, the pavilion. Man, I don't know what else you're looking for, but if it's an off-grid homesteading site, this is the best one I've seen in a long time. View of the mountain behind me of Mars Hill Mountain. Go do some skiing. We do have a lot of snow up here right now, so if you want to come see this property, give me plenty of notice. I got to get you in here by snowmobiles, and we have broke a trail in today, so it'll be a little easier the next time. Hey, thanks again for watching. You can reach me at 207-290-0372 if you got any questions. I'm looking forward to your call.